Hello, federal retirement planning community. This is Cooper back again with another exciting video on your benefits, your TSP, and all of the other things we like to talk about on this channel. But today the video I'm going to talk about, or the topic I'm going to talk about, is about some proposed changes in the TSP. Now, I want you to understand these are proposed changes. That doesn't mean they're necessarily going to happen, but these are some changes that are currently being voted on, currently being thought about, and it's important for you to be aware of for your TSP. So if you've watched this channel for very long, you've probably heard me say some things that I'd like the TSP board to improve upon. The TSP is a great retirement program. In fact, it's kind of the gold standard for 401k accounts. But that said, there's always things that can be improved. And even if, they make the improvements that I've suggested, there will be additional things that could be improved. You can never stop getting better. The same is said for the TSP. Now, my last video was on the worst TSP fund in the entire TSP, and that fund that I said was the I fund, the international fund. Well, the proposed changes that have come about, actually one of the proposed changes deals with the I fund. Now, I would like to say that that has to do with me and the video and article that I posted. Unfortunately, it probably has nothing to do with me, but that said, I'm glad that they're seeing that the I fund can use some changes. So one of the proposed changes that the TSP board is looking at is increasing the amount of countries that are within the I fund, and specifically increasing those to emerging markets. Because currently the I fund, like we said, is mainly in developed markets, and a large majority of it is within only 5 countries. Okay, a true international fund, especially when you only have 5 choices in the TSP, having a true international fund that goes into emerging markets that will obviously have more volatility, but in the same sense should have more opportunity for diversification and growth, is a great thing and something that I would highly suggest the TSP board approve. Now, that said, they have to make their decision based on how much will this increase our cost, because one of the big things about the TSP and one of the big benefits is the TSP is so cheap. So if they offer the emerging markets funds, will they increase the price of the TSP? And if they do that, will there be a lot of uproar from people about the price increasing, even though it's still very cheap? Those are things that they are going to take into consideration, I'm sure, when deciding. But that said, that's something to look at for the horizon. The second thing the TSP board is looking at on improving the TSP, or at least changing the TSP, some people may not see these as improvements, but the second thing is, rather than having 10-year time spans or 10-year spans between the L funds, so the Lifecycle Funds, so right now we've got basically 2020 to 2050, and it goes by 2020, 2030, 2040, and then 2050, changing that to a 5-year span. So going from 2020 to 2025 to 2025 to 2030 and so on. Is this an improvement? I think it could be an improvement for those people who are very weary of creating an allocation. That said, I'm not a huge fan of the L funds anyways. It's a very, basic, arbitrary allocation that has nothing to do with really your finances or anything else. It just has to do with when you're going to retire, which is something to take into consideration. But that said, there's a lot better ways to allocate your TSP than just choosing a boilerplate, allocation. So that's a proposed change. The third improvement or change that the TSP board is looking at, and actually this is at the House as well as the Senate, there's a few bills out there that are floating around and being voted on and decided upon, however, politicians go about making those decisions. But the third change has to do specifically with your withdrawal options. Now, if I can get a show of hands, how many of you would like more withdrawal options? Okay, well, I didn't see any hands, but I can't see you, but I would assume that everyone watching raised your hand, because pretty much everybody I talk to, their biggest downfall or their biggest, disadvantage they say about the TSP is the withdrawal options. And I agree, the withdrawal options are too limited. Back in the day, you know, it may have been different, but really the TSP is set up in a way where while you're working, you're in the TSP, you get the advantage of the TSP, and they kind of expect you, at least this is kind of what I feel like in the beginning, they've kind of shifted their focus now, but in the beginning it kind of seemed like they wanted people to move out of the TSP when they're retired. Now they're realizing that they could make more money if they keep people in the TSP, so they have this big program that says stay within the TSP. But you know, that's a decision that you have to make on your own. But withdrawal options would definitely increase the amount of people that would stay within the TSP, because in reality, that's really one of the biggest downfalls of the TSP and one of the biggest advantages that an IRA offers, and that an IRA oftentimes does not have withdrawal restrictions, okay? But adding that in for the TSP would be awesome. You know, the Senate and the House are both voting on it. I'm curious to see what will come of it. This is not the first time that this has been proposed. This is not the first time that somebody has said something about it. It's been floating around for some time, so you know, I'm not holding my breath, but I am crossing my fingers, so we'll find out. One question I have for you is, what would you like to see changed in the TSP? So what would be a change that you would like to see in the TSP? Feel free to let me know in the comments. One thing I'd really appreciate, if you give me an old good thumbs up, it helps the channel grow, it helps people see the videos, helps, you know, as you can see, I'm providing a lot of free resources, information for you, not really asking for much in return, and it helps me out to grow the channel. I want to help as many federal employees as I can. That's the goal of this channel, is to help as many federal employees understand their benefits as possible, okay? There's too many people out there that don't understand their benefits, don't understand their TSP. They're blindly walking through life, getting towards retirement till the fateful day that they get their big, you know, fat book of retirement paperwork, send it in, and hope they can make it the rest of their life. I want to help people have a plan going forward and help really make the life, you know, that they'd like. Help make the, you know, retirement that they desire, okay? So you can help me do that by sharing these videos, by liking the videos, by subscribing to the channel, and I appreciate all of you that do. If you got any questions, let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you next time.